Yeah, I just told our team after the game, it's going to be difficult to win if we're giving up 95 points. And I mean, offensively, they were tremendous. I mean, you have to give them credit. In the fourth quarter, I think they were 70% from the field, and then third quarter, close to 60%. Had some kids step up and have career nights. Sanders Woods coming into the game was averaging 6 points. She has a career night with 29. We couldn't find an answer for her. Obviously, Caitlin Young is always a handful, but offensively for them, I don't think they could have been much more efficient, and we ran into a little bit of buzzsaw with that. We just couldn't get stops when we needed to, which is disappointing.
Coach, in the second half, going towards y'all's bench, a lot of physical play inside. I'm sure KT was really frustrated that maybe didn't get some calls she could have had. Was it just the fact that they had a couple of career kids and you kind of live with it that way, or is it like, hey, like Lacey said, they exposed some things we need to work on that kind of open our eyes? Like, how do you kind of balance that between career night for some kids and working on things?
Yeah, certainly, again, you have to give them credit for stepping up and making plays and knocking shots down and offensively being really good tonight. The flip side is there's a lot of things that we need to fix, to tighten some things up. I thought we need to be better in our ball screen defense. I felt that way coming out of our last game against them, heading into this game. So that was a point of emphasis and a point of concern, and we didn't really fix that well enough. That they took advantage of that. I thought that and just some of our one-on-one defense, whether it be guards, posts. I mean, it was a little bit of everybody. And then at times did a poor job when we weren't guarding the ball or defending how we needed to in ball screens. We didn't have help side. We didn't have help side rotations, and sometimes to fault. And then they made the extra pass. They made the extra play, found the open person. So again, you have to give them credit, but there's certainly things that we can tighten up from tonight. I do think they had some kids that, did some things that they haven't been doing. But at the same time, there's always a lot of stuff coming out of games, whether we win or lose, that we're always trying to fix and get better. So a little bit of both.
So, right, they scored 32 in the fourth. You guys still at 25. It was your second highest quarter. I guess overall, right now that your home streak is snapped, you guys now go on the road for 3. I mean, what do you say to the team to come like, hey, 3 games on the road, like, right, there's no days off per se?
Yeah, I mean, I think regardless, whether we're home, whether we're away, like we kind of always, there's not a team you can take lightly. There's never a day off, and certainly you want to get this last one at home before you go on the road. But coming in, I mean, we were just grinding it out at Murray State last time. I know we won. We talked about it before the game. We talked about it in shoot around. It was fairly recent. We just played them. We had talked about don't take for granted how hard we worked to get that win, and I mean our kids knew that. I think the easy question is, and the one you expect is, are you resting on your laurels from the big win against Belmont? And I really don't think that's the case. I think our kids came out, they were focused offensively. We were pretty efficient. I thought we did some really good things offensively. Just defensively, we couldn't get stops, and they're a team that's one of the best in country in a lot of different offensive categories, and that's when they've been successful. We gave up 76 points, I think, to them last time. They scored 20 more than they did the previous time we played them. So it's kind of hard to say. I think we won at their place with 26 turnovers. I think we had 9 turnovers tonight. So I think if you just look at the box score, it's kind of weird, just from a offensive efficiency from our end, but I think it just goes back to we were in a shootout, and we can't just go into games winning in a shootout. We've got to be able to get stops, and we just couldn't get stops we needed to.
So before this contest, right on Friday night, you said this was going to be physical, fast, track style. So do you feel like your team handled the entire ebb and flow of the game, or do you feel like going forward for these next 3 games, that's something you guys are going to have to work on, or just adjust based on the team?
Yeah, I thought early in the game they played more of what has been their typical style with continuous pressing, pressure, and then really in the second half, I mean, they really took it off. So, last time we played them was 40 minutes of pressure, pressing, full court track meet. This became a little bit more of a half-court game, on both ends, which has not been their typical style of play this year. So I don't think it was us understanding flow or things like that. There's always games where you think, all right, maybe shot selection at times, but we didn't turn it over. We shot a really good percentage. Like, offense wasn't the problem. Like, we just didn't understand what we needed to do to get stops at critical moments. Like, I think that's really what it comes down to. We get a couple more stops, there's probably, you'd like to think there might have been a different outcome, but we couldn't get stops.
Was it a bit surprising that, you're not going to win every game or every close game, but was it kind of surprising this one didn't go y'all's way, considering you guys were at home, and obviously in close games this year, you guys have generally pulled it out in some fashion?
Yeah, I don't know if it's a surprise. I mean, I think coming in, Murray State's really good. They're good. I knew this was going to be a very difficult game. I know it's probably coaches speak. I always say, I'm worried about Murray State, and people think, yeah. But, you beat them last time, and, but, I think they're hard to play. They have a ton of different offensive weapons. Caitlin Young is really good. And then they've got a lot of kids that play with a lot of depth. And so you let a team like that put up their average number of points, which has been fourth in the country to this point. Like, we've got to be able to take them away from what their strength is. And, again, we let them get their average. So I don't think, we're going to be successful giving up 95 points to a team that wants to score 95 points.
And lastly, again, you guys now got to go on the road for 3 straight. Right? It's draining in many different ways. So I guess what's the overall message to the team, or just the mindset you guys have to have now going for 3 straight road games?
I think it's, it'd be the same regardless of what the outcome was of this past game. Obviously, you want to pick this one up, but it would be no different. We've got to continue to get better in some areas. I would have said that even if we won. There's some areas where we've got to get better. Mindset doesn't change. We've got to go on the road, and next game is biggest game on our schedule. It's always that way. So just not playing in the confines of your home arena, but that's to be expected. It's part of it. It's part of the schedule, and we'll be ready. We'll be fine.